Hello everyone, Derek's Damn Toys, back with another action figure review. Pretty excited for what's inside of the package. Of course, you'll probably see it in the thumbnail before I even had the thumbnail made. But why don't we, work on trying to get this package open. It shouldn't be too hard of a package. I see he definitely taped it up, which I'm happy about. This is a new seller I'm trying out, giving Mary Cart a secondary chance after that Neville figure. At least that was kind of a bummer situation. I'm just kind of happy I had some sort of extra kick pads I could use. Yeah, I don't think I'm getting this open on camera. We'll be right back. Alrighty, you guys, kind of just skipping straight into the accessories because, there's no plastic prison to take this figure out of. As you can see, we've got the top picks, Drew McIntyre, Elite figure. We've got them all accessoried up too. Got them at a pretty decent price too. It was about like 15-ish bucks. So, I'll consider that a W. And with that, of course, he comes with his little kilt. Of course, I love the little designs up on the kilt, and I hope that this is like movable in the idea of using him in the pig fed, because I mainly kind of got the Drew McIntyre updated for pig fed purposes. I would love to see him in the pig fed. Just gotta work out some ideas there, because I don't want him to just debut as another like Cody Rhodes Open Challenge, like Challenger or whatever. Those are mainly going to be kind of, in my idea, reserved for the people who I kind of want to test out, see if maybe I like posing the figure around enough to want to use them continuously in the pick fed. Anyway, we also have these little metal gauntlets, of course not genuine metal, but they even have the little silver like buckle there. That's a kind of a nice little detail. Of course my thumb was kind of hiding the second one, but I guess that's kind of like a neat little indicator as to which arms they go on. Like this one I assume would go on the right one, and then this one would go on the left one, so then the buckles are on the inside of the arm. It's easier to get to if it's on the inside of the arm. Like, I'm not trying to explain all that. I think you guys get it. And of course he comes with the beautiful Claymore sword. Of course, I don't think he comes out with this now. I can't really recall the last time I've seen Drew McIntyre's entrance while watching wrestling. Sometimes I don't pay attention while I'm watching the entrances. Anyway, we've got nice little gold details up in there, the handle being like a nice brown to represent some wood. Even a little bit of detail there, I think, in the bottom of the handle. That's actually really cool. Of course, it's a little warped, but that's fine. I probably am not going to use the sword in the pig fed, as cool as it would be. And we also have his, like, little Claymore leg slappy hands, or whatever you would want to call those. Anyway, why don't we get into the Drew McIntyre himself? Of course, he comes with a set of mic holding or weapon holding hands, Claymore holding hands, whatever you want to call it. He's got those as well, so my bad if I didn't include that. But getting a good look at the new Drew McIntyre head sculpt, I'll say this, I can see why people were saying this head scan kind of looks a little big on this Drew McIntyre, but I still kind of like it. I don't think it looks like too overly big. The hair is nice and accurate, I'd say. Am I going to have a hard time making sure this figure stands for the rest of the review? I don't know. But anyways, getting into like the attire itself, of course he's got black wrist tape. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to do a boot swap on this, at least for one of the boots, because I noticed the one is pretty like decent, but this one is a little loose on this end. But he comes with he has two sets of black wrist tape, of course. He's got kind of like similar designs on his kilt, on his like tights or whatever you want to call them. Yeah, they're tights, duh. Anyway, and he's also got a silver like belt buckle lining here, which, kind of a little odd, but I don't know if that was like molded or not. And then of course he's got his symbol on his knee pads. Let's see if we can actually get that in focus. There we go. Of course, plain black boots. Not a very like strong figure, I guess you could say, on attire, unless you have him like propped up with the kilt. But that's not the biggest ordeal. It's still a really good figure. Mine, of course, is just a little loose. I did get it on a pretty decent deal though, so not complaining. Of course, I'm not saying it's like super loose. Like the waist is a little loose, and the ankle is very loose, honestly. Like normally boots I can't rock like that, as where with this one I'm actually like kind of putting pressure on that, and it's moving the figure itself and not the boot. So I don't know, maybe he posed the boot around trying to do the claymore kick for like an action figure photo or whatever, and that got a little loose. But honestly, it's still in really good condition compared to the Neville. And he does have a couple of other figures I'm kind of considering maybe picking up, but I don't know, we'll just have to see, as I'd prefer to not have to fix every loose figure I get, which is why I normally tend to go to Wrestling Collector Shop. Just because, let's be honest, Wrestling Collector Shop, it's almost like they were just taken out of the box to make it cheaper on shipping. And he also takes a little bit off the total price for it not being mock. So, all in all, I would say that this is definitely kind of like around the same ballpark of what he probably would have sold it for, but not in necessarily the quality he would have sold it in. He did, of course, say that this was going to be oh, my buddy's texting me, sorry about that, I kind of got a little distracted, but he said it was a display piece, so I mean, I can imagine maybe it got a little loose from how he could have displayed it as well. Going back to the claymore kick idea, maybe he could have tried to display it like that. I don't know, but definitely not complaining all that much. Just the little nitpicks for the review itself, because gotta share my gripes if I'm gonna review the figure and post it up later. But honestly, I don't know, why don't I maybe get this figure all posed up, and we can kind of just give our final thoughts and review the figure itself. Alrighty, now that we've gotten the Drew McIntyre all posed up, having a stare down with AJ Styles, Dolph Ziggler kind of getting himself caught in the middle of things maybe, or maybe he's kind of interlocked in between this feud, like maybe he earned the number one contender opportunity, and Drew McIntyre's just trying to step in and add himself to the situation. I don't know. I don't know what I was necessarily going for here. It also kind of shows off a couple of the more recent reviews. So if you haven't watched the Dolph Ziggler or the AJ Styles review, maybe go check those out. I don't know. All up to you. My hoodie's kind of clinking against the barricade, as I don't have it fully zipped, so my bad for the little clanking sound there. But overall, I definitely like this Drew McIntyre figure. It fits pretty damn perfect in my collection. Of course, I don't collect mock figures yet, so kind of don't really have a use for the box anyway, so I definitely appreciate the price I got this for. And if anything, I may just have to do a boot swap. So I'm not going to necessarily take any points off for that. Normally I would, but I just don't really feel like it's that terrible of a scenario where the Pac had two of the same feet and one was extremely loose, and I had to then go out of my way to kind of customize the figure up a little bit, which is never a great impression for a first time buyer. And in my opinion, I probably will never get from that seller again, just because it just made it sound like it was a display piece. I could see where this was actually a genuine display piece like the seller told me. And I'm kind of curious to buy some of the other figures he has now. And with that being said, as far as the like kilt accessory, it kind of gives me PTSD to Keith Lee like hoodie vibes, just because of how hard it is to press the rubber kilt in the back. Maybe one day we'll get an Ultimate Edition Drew McIntyre and we'll get a cloth or a leather kilt. I feel like that would be super, super sick. Maybe even a remake of this Elite exactly, because, you know, I love my blue attires. Blue and pink are some of my more favorited attires in any like era of pro wrestling. Like when AJ Styles came out in the blue and white and they made a figure of it, honestly was deal breaking. Like instantly went out and got it as soon as I found it for a really good deal. And well, there's a reason why I have it in the collection, obviously. But yeah, you know, what would I rate the Drew McIntyre? Honestly, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give him a good solid 8. Of course, mine has the loose ankle, but I don't really think that's the biggest ordeal. If I really wanted to, I'll take my old Elite Drew McIntyre that I could now put up on the shelf if I want to, and boot swap it there and kind of give it a reason to not move or pose around. So I'm going to give it a good solid 8 out of 10. As far as the star rating goes, I think a good solid 3 3/4 star. What would you say for like a 3.75? I don't know. I guess I kind of said it anyway. So Drew McIntyre, definitely highly recommend this one. And maybe if you find the new Elite one, feel free to grab that one too, as it is essentially kind of like the same Drew McIntyre, just the kilt's a little different and the attire itself is also different. But besides that being the point, it is practically the same figure. All in all though, I think this is definitely worth going out of your way to get if you can find it for a reasonable price. If you can't and you still end up paying like 25 to 30 bucks, I still feel like that's reasonable too, as long as it's mock in the package. If you're getting it for that price and you're getting it loose, I don't know what you thought, but that's not a good deal. Anywho, I think we'll wrap this video up. So if you like the video, feel free to like the video. If you dislike the video, that's alright. It doesn't bother me any. I barely ever check that shish anyway. But on a good note though, if you did like the video, feel free to subscribe. After all, it is free to subscribe. And you can also get future content, you know, because I do plan on reviewing more figures in the near future. I do also plan on putting out more pick fed episodes, which, you know, just saying, it blows my mind that episode 7 and the first night of the holiday tour are at how many views they are now, because last I checked, I want to say the holiday tour was a little over 100, maybe a little bit more than that now. And episode 7 was like 248. Like, I got crazy numbers on those 2 episodes, and I don't know why. But honestly, I'm super appreciative of it, whether someone shouted me out and you came to check out my video because of that, or whatever it may be. Thank you to all of the people who did shout me out, by the way. And yeah, I think we're done here. Have a great night, you guys, and peace out.